The faint static as an amp is switched on. The first grinding notes on an electric guitar at soundcheck. These are just some of the familiar sounds of rock and roll, one of America's most beloved genres of music. There are many rock powerhouses we're all familiar with, but if you dig deep enough, you will find one of rock's best-kept secrets. Her name is Carolyne Mas.
In a fair and perfect world, Carolyne Mas would have become a major music star in the 1980s. Among many other setbacks, she is today a retired musician with a wonderful body of work behind her, but no material wealth to show as reward for her undoubted singing and songwriting talent.
The summer of 1978, we had interest from Mercury Records, but there was this disconnect. He saw the acoustic side of me and thought, well, here's this young lady in a dress. And they come see me play it, and I'm like, ah! Like horrified, because they were expecting some nice acoustic act. And I think they were a little angry that I was like jumping up and down. The idea was that if I made an album of ballads, they would have been okay, and I said no. I didn't want to do it. So everybody thought I was like nuts, my friends, you know, do whatever they want, you know.
Mas established herself as one of rock's unsung heroes, and while her major contributions to rock music could possibly be around for years to come, an important question remains. With all of the contributions Mas has made to the music community, especially as a pioneer for women in rock, how is it that she did not become a household name? Mas arrived in the Village in late 1976 and earned her claim to fame playing gigs at popular clubs like Kenny's Castaways and the Bitter End.
I had been playing, by that time, a lot with Kenny's Castaways. My band was the trio behind me, and it was John Paris's band.
Her career rose quickly in 1979 after WNEW Radio in New York aired her demo tape, which led her to her first record deal with Mercury Records in May of that year.
My first album came out in July of 1979. It was finished on the 6th of July. I remember because I got married the day after. I was recording that album before I'd actually signed the papers with Mercury. You know, that's how fast it was. Everything was moving really fast. Piling up in mountains, by the time I was doing the second record, they wanted something that was a little harder. It's gonna be a long time. We decided to do the record live. I also didn't want people to think that I was being created in the studio by men, which had been mentioned before.
Could it be that a woman playing music in a man's world came with a hidden cost?
I guess they figured that, you know, I couldn't be possibly playing guitar, and that any of the things that I did had to have been guided or sculpted by men. I really resented that, because I spent my whole life playing music, you know, and certainly nobody created me. I, you know, didn't need somebody to create me. The record was great. I was very happy with it. The vocals were done live. No punch-ins, and I'm very proud of that record, but it did better in Europe than it did here. I still had one more record to do with Mercury, which ended up being Modern Dreams.
Her career plateaued in 1980, even though she received rave reviews in Time magazine, Billboard, and Rolling Stone. But by May of 1981, as she recorded her third album for Mercury Records, her career began its sharp and painful descent.
I wasn't getting any promotion from Mercury, and the promotion that I had was what I did myself by staying on the road and by having an excellent band and doing excellent live shows.
Mas continued to perform through the 80s, but could never regain her footing. Mas worked as a go-go dancer, cleaned houses, and waited on tables while her manager forged her signature on royalty checks, which could have supported her.
He had me co-signed a loan with American Express. I remember getting a phone call from them, and they told me that they would find out wherever I was playing and they would take the money from the box office. So I stopped playing because I didn't really know what to do.
I think my contract with him was up like December 5th of 1985. And January 25th, I was stabbed.
In 1986, someone broke into her Jersey Shore apartment while she was sleeping and stabbed her 9 times in addition to slitting her throat. On the way out, the assailant grabbed her trademark hat and prized Telecaster guitar, which Bruce Springsteen had played just days before at the Stone Pony Jam 86 concert. Had Mas not been discovered by the building's owner, she might have died. Even though she suffered a punctured lung during the attack, Mas was ready to rock 6 days later, performing at a benefit for a New Jersey food bank.
It was good for me at that point to move out to California, because doing that then eventually led me to Germany, which was a wonderful experience. And I think that moving there allowed me to heal.
A TV performance on Rockpalast, a German concert series that was broadcast nationwide. The broadcast, in conjunction with a pseudo-bootleg album released by Phonogram entitled Mas Hysteria, sent Mas's career soaring throughout Europe.
We were in places that were sold out, and with lines around the block. And there I was thinking that, after all those years, who the heck is going to come? I went home for like 2 weeks, and then I moved back to Germany with a suitcase and a box and my cat.
Her success was so great that it kept her touring throughout Germany and Italy for years. The fans adored her, and in them, Mas found the loyal fan base she had longed for, in addition to much-deserved success.
When you are perceived as having come and gone, it's very hard to have a comeback because everybody wants to discover you for the first time.
Mas was a shining star who quickly became an underdog as well as a survivor of an often ruthless music industry. Today, she lives in a secluded off-grid home in the Arizona desert with her family.
Pretty much put a pin in a map and found this solar home off the grid completely, no power lines, that said answer to no one. That was in the ad, and I thought, well, that sounds good to me.
In May of 2019, exactly 40 years after signing her first record deal with Mercury Records, Mas graduated summa cum laude from Arizona State University with a Bachelor of Science in Integrative Health. She acquired her Master of Science in Medical Nutrition in May of 2021. She is currently pursuing a PhD.
There's a quote, "No star has ever gone once we have seen. We can always be what we might have been." Your moment in the sun is a very short one compared to the entirety of your life.
Carolyne Mas has succeeded in reinventing herself.
If you're happy where you are right now, you accept everything on the road that's happened, the good and the bad, because if it leads to the moment that you love, like right now, isn't this great?
For her many fans worldwide, Carolyne Mas's legacy will live on for years to come. Often dubbed as the female Bruce Springsteen throughout her career, what Carolyne Mas contributed to the world of rock music was uniquely her own. While her inability to fit into a niche may have caused her to fly under the radar at times, her voice as a strong and resilient woman is more relevant today than ever.
If you do not